to another wonderful episode of Tea Talks, brought to you by Be in Dubai, which is the Black Educators in Dubai. I am your host, Jes'ka Washington, here and ready to tackle on another conversation, one that's actually very, very important. But before I do, I have to shout out this beautiful shirt given to me by 3 Hearts T-shirt company. I'm sorry. For Black girls who want to move abroad in America is not enough. And that actually goes a little bit into our topic today, because we are talking about the medical. And when we discuss medical and being healthcare over here versus what we're used to at home. But before we start talking, let me go ahead and introduce 2 wonderful panelists today. We have...
Hi, I'm Ashibe. I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, and we also have...
I'm Tracey Williams, originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Can we ask how did you get out here?
How did you get in Wisconsin?
How did I get to Wisconsin, or how did
I get here?
Search. I did Search Associates and interviewed in Boston, and had a wonderful offer at an all-girls school, and so I accepted that, and it got me out here, and then I've been here for 6 years.
Awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit more about one piece of the package. So when you're out here, you get your accommodations, sometimes you're on allowance, you get your salary, but most times you always get medical.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Yes.
But what does that really mean? So when we talk about medical, I'm going to say first and foremost, that means if we're going to speak on this, we're all here with a story.
Yes.
So what was your story for medical?
Okay, so I'm a person who's living with lupus.
Oh, wow.
And so having a chronic illness, insurance is very important. And so when I decided to come here, my rheumatologist from Wisconsin connected with a rheumatologist here so that I'd have that support. So when I came on board, I wanted to make sure that my insurance covered that particular, because this was the top rheumatologist in the UAE.
Okay.
And so it was really important. So when I explained to my school, they made sure that I had insurance coverage for that particular clinic, and I was able to see the top rheumatologist in the UAE. And so it was fully covered, 100%. So upon arrival here, I started on chemo. That was fully covered. Again, I had weekly appointments with the doctor, and just the treatment, the support that I got was just, it was amazing. It was really good. Fast forward though a little bit, the medicine, the chemo that they gave me, I didn't know it was being produced in India. And so in India, they have different chemicals than they do with the major pharmaceutical companies in the US. So the chemo I was taking was very harmful. And so I became very ill. And I ended up having to go to the hospital. This was in my first year. And when I got to the hospital and they realized what chemo I was taking, they were concerned, because if I had continued on that path, I could have died. And so I had to leave the top rheumatologist and go to another one. So it's not always that title that matters, it's the support and service. So we were able to get off of that chemo and get on a one from the US, which I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here. Yes.
So we're going to talk about more parts of your story
Absolutely.
Throughout this, but we're going to go ahead and talk about how did you have the experience with medical here?
So my medical experience was, I had my daughter in 2017, and I was really terrified because I did not know what to expect. I had my son in America. I had an emergency cesarean with him, and because of that, my doctor wanted me to have a cesarean here. Again, I was terrified. It was during the summer. She was due in August, so everybody was going home. But I would just say, oh my God. And it was hot. It was miserably hot. It's 120 degrees hot Fahrenheit. So for me, it was, my care throughout my pregnancy was wonderful. The out-of-pocket expense that I had, like throughout my pregnancy, I probably paid maybe about $350 US.
Wow. For
Like
a whole pregnancy. For a whole baby. For a whole baby.
A whole baby. Which was shocking. It was very shocking. And I ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days. I had a second cesarean. I stayed in the hospital for 4 days. It was like I didn't feel the panic or the rush that you needed to go.
Right.
And so for me, it was just like, okay, can I go home now? Like, I think that I'm ready. And so the care and the support, as well as the expense. So now let me ask you, Miss Jes'ka.
Right.
Because I know we all have our medical stories. So
Yes.
what is yours?
So yes, this is a little different. Normally I host and just ask questions, but I have had a serious series of medical issues that's happened while I've been in the UAE. The very first one I'm going to just say is really basic, and I have severe eczema. So I was always concerned about coming out here with dry skin.
Okay.
So I went to the doctors and I was really concerned because I'm just so used to what I do in the US. And to tell you that they gave me a totally different regimen, which just made me so much more skeptical until I walked out paying a US $14. So I was like, I'm gonna try these drugs I can't pronounce because they're written in a different language, and they worked. It was just something different, and so that was just my first like, hold up, I need to pay attention. Then your girl broke a whole finger playing basketball and had to be put in emergency surgery because the bone had totally just came out the socket. It was a mess. So that was emergency surgery. So I had to stay in the hospital for 2 days and had 28 days leave sick for like this one finger. Like, and I don't know, it's still in physical therapy. I'm still in physical therapy with this finger, and I can't even remember how much I paid for that because the third one, I woke up in the middle of the night screaming. Woke up in the middle of the night screaming, did not know what was wrong, body shaking, I'm convulsing, and couldn't figure it out. Just couldn't figure it out. And the pain was so great that I just knew I needed to get to the emergency room. Little TMI, I knew not to take a taxi. Because I didn't want to deal with no fines. That's what my body was doing. Okay. Got to the hospital, and once again, we'll talk about networks in another show because my network drove me there.
Okay.
And when I got to the hospital, it's 1 a.m. in the morning. Didn't realize what the pain was until they put me on a pain drip. And it was every time my body was squeezing, it was squeezing, and it was like I had to go to the bathroom, but nothing would happen, or it was just a mess. 8 a.m. they finally diagnosed me with a fibroid this big that had covered the entire uterus and had expanded in that small moment of time over my bladder and over my colon, and put me in a catheter immediately. The pain subdued, but told me you're going to be in surgery immediately because the truth of the matter is my body could have been septic. If that was not discovered, my body could have been septic and I would not be here. And emergency surgery 2 p.m. hospital for 3-4 days, and I'm telling you, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I'm still saying it's a UTI. It's a UTI. No, it's your whole life. It was a total of 4 fibroids. And no, when people want to ask questions, I did not know I had fibroids. Once again, we talked back about US had gone to doctors regularly, never diagnosed. At age 39, which is 2 years ago, went specifically because I had an ovary removed when I was 7. And I went specifically to ask the lady, can I have children? And in all of the tests she gave, she never gave me an ultrasound, which means that she would have seen the fibroids.
Absolutely.
But immediately the doctors here did that immediately. So I said, I was shocked. Like, aren't you American? Don't you get checked regularly? Did all of that, had to recover, and the blessing is that the doctor cared enough. She cut me in the same exact place I was cut before as a young child, and she told me you'll be fine in 10 days. I had Google searched. It's 4 to 6 weeks. In fact, I had more sick leave for the broken finger than I had for a whole surgery. And but it was 10 days, and when I say probably for all of that, I probably paid a US $270 for the emergency room piece, but I know I did not pay over US $500 for everything that happened. And I'm going to give you too much information, but if you're a woman with fibroids or know this, they saved my uterus. And I was really shocked at age 41 because I'm a prime candidate for them to just do a full hysterectomy. And so, like, she was like, no, you still, I didn't want to do nothing else with it. Like, I'm 41, I'm good. Time go. This is the baby story. I got a niece.
But you know what the funny thing is, and as I mentioned earlier, I had my son via emergency cesarean. and I was in so much pain and discomfort that I was terrified. And in addition to being in a different country, I had already had I don't want to say bad experience, but an unwanted experience.
Yes.
And when I say I had my daughter on August 8th, and I was up walking on August 8th.
Yes.
And at first I was just like, well, what's taking y'all so long? like I want to see my baby. And when I say my doctor took her time and made sure that whatever closure needed to be done, that there was a precision there that, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't down there looking, but I will say that I was able to get up and walk without pain.
Yep.
Right.
And I remember the first time that I went to sneeze, because if you've had it before, you know what that feels like. So I was holding it, and I was saying to my husband, "Give me a pillow, give me a pillow." And then when I went to press the pillow there, and I sneezed, and I felt nothing. And I was like, well, how many stitches did they put there?
Right, now you think it's not right. Because I'm supposed to be in pain.
I'm not in pain. Yes. And even the regimen that they had me on for like 10 days, making sure I didn't develop any blood clots, making sure I would.
Yes.
I was just like, are y'all sure? Like, can y'all take this back home? Because I had such a traumatic experience in the recovery part.
Yes.
That I did not want to go through that again, but the baby had to come out. So that part I would definitely say was like big for me.
I'm going to give you another one. So because of my emergency surgery and everything, I didn't have family here. And crazy thing is, my mom, who's my rock and does all that, she was on a cruise. Parents, I didn't have anybody here. And so in the recovery, I have a broken, mind you, I have a whole broken hand. And now I have all of this going on. And I'm just sitting in the bed. I can't do nothing in life. I can't even Google search because I'm bored. Like, I had to get the nurse to log into Netflix. Like, I'm so pitiful. But the point is that I was able to find a full nurse and care for me daily. As such an afford, like, I don't even want to put out.
The nurse came here.
Huh?
The nurse came here.
So some of y'all might have met Miss Juliet. I have not let go of my nurse yet.
Like,
Me and her, like this. That's she originally, she was my nurse. But not only did she take care of me, she came and cleaned the house, cooked, stayed on my diet, and all of that stuff. And when my mom came, she just went and took care of my mom. My mom was like, this ain't supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be taking care of you. What I'm saying, though, is it's not only the support throughout the medical system, it is the support of help. Just being here, that if you're in a situation where you can't do, things still run. My car still gets washed. You could get somebody to bring gas. The person is driving, but those things can still happen.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of those blessings. I wanted to talk to you. I think you could speak a little bit more about the meds. When it comes to looking at those type of things.
I do want to just say, Crystal, I remember coming to see you right when Sahana was born. And you were, I was like, what are you doing up? Crystal was walking around greeting folks. And it's like,
I felt so good.
yes. And what was so amazing that I saw in that time was the nurses loved the baby and how they nurtured Sahana, and they wanted to keep her more than you know. And they wanted Crystal to get her rest.
Just rest.
But she had to ask, can my baby come see me? Can my baby stay with me? But they had washed her, they would bathe her and dress her, and she wore every outfit in the first few days because just the care, and they were always.
And it wasn't a rush that you got 24 hours, you have to get out. You got 48 hours, you have to get out. It was just like, can y'all take me home? And then the last day, I don't know if you remember, when you came to see me, I was actually moving because they were like, this might be a little too much noise. They had some construction going on. We're going to move you up a few floors. And I'm telling you, the room was the size of my apartment.
It was
like, is my insurance paying for this? Because I ain't got no extra money for go. But we didn't have to pay anything. And even though I know that we're laughing about it,
yes,
like the fact that you can use your energy and your what you're thinking about to really just heal your body. You don't have to worry about how am I going to cover it because I don't have to pay for my insurance, so it's not being deducted monthly from my salary. And then I don't have these really extremely high co-pays, or I don't have these, low caps
or the bills that come afterwards. Once you pay.
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. But you meds. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, meds. I was gonna say you're gonna have to keep a little though.
Okay.
Yes.
You gotta keep a cushion.
Yes.
Keep a cushion. You can't be sick and broke. You want to keep a little cushion because they want that card right then.
Yes.
But okay.
So medications, if I think about it, I take 15 medications a day, and all are covered. And it's a beautiful thing. But I want to speak about a particular one. With lupus, there is no cure, but there is one drug that has been created specifically for lupus patients called Benlysta. It's out of the U.S. In the U.S., to get a monthly dose of this, it's $20,000 US.
For 1 month.
1 month for one infusion, $20,000 US. So when I got with this rheumatologist and we researched this option, we initially were like, oh, will we get approval by the insurance because it's such a hefty cost. And so here it was approved. I didn't pay anything. And so it was the equivalent of $20,000 US, and I was able to get this monthly treatment from my insurance. And I didn't pay anything.
Wow.
And so talk about a blessing. And so it was such a life-changing opportunity to have that, that I would have stayed here forever, because of that opportunity to take this medicine, the one medicine that can do and make wonders for me. So powerful. But yeah, I take, all of my meds are covered. I have no complaints. Yeah.
Right. So we talk about the meds and we just talk about these experiences, and I don't ever want to turn this to an us and them or America's this versus that.
Yes.
What the whole goal is do you feel safe with you comes to your health in this situation and being out here?
I would say definitely. I would say definitely. I've been here for 6 years as well. I'm overall a healthy person, so I haven't had to have that much. Besides supporting my friends and my family, I haven't had to have any medical treatments other than the care for having my daughter. But after that experience, I cannot tell you why I would have any doubt.
So, and I want to touch on a little piece here because you do have your daughter. What about medical for her?
Okay, so for her, and I will also say for my nanny, so you can buy insurance and you pay for it by the year. So you can go to a company and you can say, hey, I need insurance for my family, because your employer is supposed to, is required to by law provide you with medical insurance, but they don't have to provide for your dependents.
Got it.
Some employers do say, we'll cover you plus one dependent. So when you're reading your contract, kind of keep that in mind. But you can go to that same insurance company as an individual and actually buy a policy. And the policy, and the policy is actually, it's not something that's astronomical. Like I think for my nanny, it was about 565 dirham for the year. Like I'm not talking about the year, like a full year, 565 dirham. I think that's what it is. And then
for a quick conversion, I always tell people if you hear us talking dirham, just divide by 3 and go to US. Okay.
And then for my daughter, I paid about $1,200 for the year. And that includes, like when I go to take her to get her shots and all of that is included in my yearly fee. And that's all I have to really pay for out of my pocket. So it's very affordable. Healthcare is very affordable, and it is something that, again, your employer must provide for you. Even if, like someone in my case, I employ my nanny, that's something I have to provide for her. And she actually ended up having gallstones and had to have a surgery. And I was thinking that because of the amount that I paid for the year, that she was going to have like reduced care.
Right.
But they were ordering all the tests and paying, and I was like, well, okay, how much do we need to pay? Nothing. All right, thank you. So you get that you get that added benefit, and it's affordable.
Okay, so then we talk. I mean, I don't think you can kind of say enough. It's just feels good to be cared for.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of the message that's out here, as well as when you're going through a health crisis, to not have other stresses that you know
Absolutely.
about. I do know, kind of like in the States, we don't want to go no place in an ambulance. Like, let me call you.
Let me tell you. So I recently was pretty sick. I couldn't breathe, so I knew something was going on. So I went to my clinic in the Dubai Mall, the world's largest mall. So my clinic is in the mall. And so while I was there, and they tested my oxygen, it had dropped to 70, which is dangerously low. And so I was just gonna have my husband drive me, because we don't do paramedics at home, you know. And so even though I couldn't breathe, and so it was so low that it was a risk for me to drive in the car. So they had to send me by paramedic. So I was like, how much do I have to pay, you know, before? So I couldn't even do the oxygen for worried about how much I was gonna have to pay. They're like, anytime there's an emergency, there's no fee, no cost for the paramedic. So I'm leaving Dubai Mall by paramedic. So you would think that there would be an exit for the medical. You know?
Oh my goodness.
But no. So I'm on oxygen and everything. They wheel me through the mall on the elevator with people with shopping bags. So I'm on the gurney. And I'm on the gurney like, this really can't be happening. So I will say I'm the only person who's left Dubai Mall on a gurney and had bags next to me. But yeah, so they escorted me, lights on and everything.
Oh, that's not funny.
And so they rushed me to the hospital, and just again, amazing care. So I was there for 4 days. I ended up having pneumonia, double pneumonia, what was it? Influenza. So I just developed illness. And so 4 days, I left there, no cost. I paid nothing for that service.
And the one piece I was going to say is, I know, well, one, I'm coming in from being trifling. I know my lifestyle. My lifestyle is trifling. I don't, like, when you went to the doctor, the school, and they be like, here's your benefits. I just said, okay. I ain't know the different plan numbers.
Yes.
Like, I didn't pay attention. It was just a check.
Yes.
When I hit 30, I was like, well, maybe I should do dental. Maybe, like, and like I hit 34, I was like, well, let me read the packages. But to say, I honestly, even to this day, don't really know how to look at a benefits package. And then to come over here, and it was just 100% medical.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, all right, I'm covered.
Yeah.
And then I hear rumors that I don't have the best medical insurance. So then it's like, okay, oh my gosh, I don't have the best medical insurance. And pay attention, I'm saying the story because the rumor is my company doesn't.
Yeah.
And I still walked away.
Exactly. Yes. So can you imagine what the amazing top of the line looks like?
And tell me what it is I sign up.
Tell me what the top of the line, because my employer doesn't have the best insurance. And so when I first got there and I just took the standard card, they didn't approve anything. And so I had to pay for the visit. I had to pay for the insurance. So I went back and said, well, I'm not used to this, because in my previous schools here, insurance covered at least my visit. I might do a little copay, but this was covering nothing. And so I met with them. And so insurances have different ranges. So I still have the same company insurance, but now I have the VIP package.
Okay.
Nothing that I pay. Again, the company has absorbed that cost. But now, so I get this. So I want to know what the Cadillacs do, you know, on the top insurance, because this one is considered one of the lower ones. So I'm just amazed. And it's
But I would say then, if we're at this low insurance and we're still taken care of,
Yes.
I think the big question, and we're going to go back to you guys, is that don't allow the not knowing to become a decision.
Yes.
Reach out and talk to people and
Yes.
ask those questions. For instance, I think we all have very personal stories of medical, but we're on camera talking about it because we understand the importance of putting that knowledge out there.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're someone with like a chronic illness,
Yes.
or you're someone who, you know, who wants to have a family or have young kids. You want to know what kind
and
of
then I think in mind, I want you to know that I was the emergency.
Yes.
I was the one that was in the middle of the night. I was the one that your mama said, what you gonna do when you go out there and then you don't know nobody and you just in the hospital? Well, that's the one that happened to me. We've had all three. I was in a situation, and to be honest with you, I'm so grateful and thankful for how my things happened. I ain't necessarily grateful for how it was. We ain't gonna talk about how I was in the sexy dress trying to be sexy when my stuff went down. So I'm all in there in the cute lingerie. It was a mess. Like, that's a whole nother story. But when you say health coverage, I was covered.
Yes.
It's covered.
Yes.
And so bringing that all together, want to thank you guys for joining us for another Tea Talk. Ladies.
Yes.
And until next time, I'm your host, Jes'ka Washington.